Just making a quick video about the R13 again. Just want to answer some questions. I've been getting lots of questions about lots of different aspects of this, so I'll just make this video and show you. This thing here at the front, lots of people are asking what it's for, what it does. It does two things. Firstly, it's a support for the GPU, because the GPUs, they're not really supported in here too well. So this bracket here mounts onto that, holds it a bit more secure. You can see also there's a fan inside, and these are fan ducts basically just to direct the air into the GPU. And yes, it can be removed. You just pull this little thing here, it just slides out. You can see what it looks like here. It's just a piece of plastic. Now you can see that little metal bracket that I was talking about, and without it, see how much more plays in the GPU. So it is actually quite good to have that there. In behind it, there's your two fans, two 120mm fans. You can also replace these, no problem at all. To remove them, it's toolless. Just pull this little lever, they just clip out. Metal brackets that the fans sit inside, they're just 120mm fans. They're held in with these little rubber grommets. You can see at the back here, you just pop them out. See in here, just pop them out, put another 120mm fan in it, and they'll just pop back in here like that. You can see here, it's a fan header going straight to the motherboard. It's a 4-pin fan header, just like a conventional fan, so you shouldn't have any problems swapping that out. There's your other fan, same deal, it just pops out just like the other one. There's another fan up in the top here, also 120. It uses the same mounting mechanism, just pop it out like always. It's a bit of a stuff around using these things. I don't know why they do it, I'll just leave that there for now. But it works. I guess it's toolless. I assume that's why they do it. I'd prefer just normal screws, but it is what it is. People have been asking about the fan headers on the motherboard. So the pump itself, it does go to the pump header that's on the motherboard. The CPU fan, which is this one here, it also goes to the CPU fan header on the motherboard. Up the top in there, there is a system fan header, which is what that fan's plugged into up in there. Same here, system fan header, system fan header. So they all have their own fan headers. There's no Y splitters going on. They're all 4-pin, so you could swap them out, no worries at all. Down the bottom, here's your 2.inch drive. It's SATA. It's just a normal sled like you would have seen in plenty of other computers. It's nothing special. In behind here, this is where your SATA plugs are. Top one is for the one up the top. I'll show you that in a minute. This is the one I'm using for this sled down the bottom, and there is a third one there that you could use if you wanted to put another drive somewhere else in this computer. This is the power supply down the bottom. It's not modular. All the cords are actually coming out down the back corner down there. You can see you can't swap them out. There is this bracket here that supports the GPU as well. Same deal as that thing on the front. You can just slide it out. I've taken it out. It doesn't make any difference, so I just thought I'd leave it in there because it does help support it. Makes it a bit stronger, a bit more supported. This is the Wi-Fi card. Lots of people have asked if it's got Wi-Fi. It does have Wi-Fi. There's two antennas coming off it. One's for Bluetooth, one's for Wi-Fi. They don't have external aerials on the back of the computer. They just run that cable, just runs up the top and out to the back and just is exposed on the back of the computer. It does the job. It gets the signal out, no worries at all. So yes, it does have Wi-Fi. It is Wi-Fi 6. Down in here, this is your main M.2 for basically where Windows is installed. It's a 512 gig. It is a Samsung drive. I've looked up the serial number. I can't really find out what it is, but it is definitely Gen 4. I've done crystal mark tests on it. Gets about 7,000. Obviously, tests after that gets slower and slower for heat, but that's a normal thing. I am going to put a heat sink on it. I'm just waiting for it to arrive. I've tried to find out what type of drive it is. It seems to be very comparable to the Samsung 980 Pro, so maybe it is like an OEM version of that drive. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely a Samsung and it's definitely a Gen 4 and it's fast. So yeah, I'll whack a heatsink on that, and yeah, it's quite a good drive. Your second M.2 port up here doesn't come with anything in it from the factory. I've just whacked this 1TB one in here. It's nothing special. You can put any drive you want in there. It's also a Gen 4 port. They say that it supports Gen 5. There's nothing Gen 5 to even test it with at the moment, but I'll just take their word for it. It didn't come with the screw to hold it in. I had my own, so I just whacked that in there. I'm not sure if it's meant to come with the screw, but mine didn't, so just be aware of that. Same with this drive down the bottom. This SATA cable did not come with the computer. There was the power cord was already here, but I just put this SATA cord in. Up the top up in here, this little light bar, it just swivels. You can move it in and out of your way. That's what gives you your internal lighting on the inside of the computer. There is this 3.5 inch drive up the top of it. It did have a hard drive in it from the factory. I pulled it out because I don't use spinning rush drives anymore. They're just not what I need. I've just stuck just a 2.5 inch SSD. It's just sitting in there loosely at the moment. I'll probably end up just double-siding taping it to that sled, because obviously it's not designed for a 2.5, but there's no reason why you can't put one up there. There's a power cord up there for any drive that you want, and the SATA cable was already run up there. So yeah, you can easily put another hard drive up the top and have the one down the bottom as well. So that's two. I've got them both populated just because I can. It is definitely DDR5 RAM in this board. It is DDR5 RAM only. You cannot change it to DDR4. I will be swapping the RAM out just because I want to, but at the moment it's very hard to get your hands on DDR5, so I'm using it for now. There's no issues with it. It works perfectly fine. There's no need that you do need to change it. I'm just going to because I want to. But yeah, as you can see, it is a custom Alienware motherboard. It's not your standard off the shelf. It doesn't have a lot of room in and above it here. There is another PCI port you can see up the top here, but you could, I suppose, get something in there, but it's going to be a very tight fit. There is no room under the GPU to go installing anything else. I would say there's only just enough room for those fans under there to get some air. You can take this bracket here that's sitting on top of the power supply, but it's only going to give you a good, 3 mil more extra clearance under there, so it would make it a bit better. But then the power supply is also, it's not black, it's like a silver color, so it probably wouldn't look as good in there. But yeah, that's about it really. I can't think of any other questions that people had. Most of them were about what fan headers and stuff they had, so none of them share any fan headers. All the fans are to their own fan headers. All the system fans go to a system fan header. The CPU goes to a CPU header. The pump has a pump header on there as well. Same with these two front ones, and yes, they are all 4-pin, so you can swap them out, no worries at all. I'm going to put a heatsink. I'm going to swap this one out to a 980 Pro. I'll put a heatsink on that as well, and I do have a EKWB heatsink coming for the standard one that's in there. I'll put that on there just because I can. I don't think it really needs it. This RAM that I said is DDR5, there is no XMP profiles for it. You can't turn them on. It's just OEM. XMP profiles, basically an overclock profile you get from the factory with RAM. There's none for these, which I didn't expect there would be, but I'm going to try and get some DDR5 later on, and we'll see how that goes to put it in. This little light bar just folds back down. This Alienware does light up, and yeah, the light bar behind it lights everything up. That's about it really. As you can see, you can swap some things out. It's not as difficult as the last one. I think this one's going to be pretty easy to work on. I'll probably end up swapping out these fans just to try out some different fans to see if it makes a difference. I haven't really had any problems with thermals with this computer, so there's no need to swap them out, but I'll just do it out of interest's sake. I neatened up these a little bit too. They were running down the side here. I found out that there's a six pin plug on the back here. It just clips in here. It's like a bracket that holds them. So I just unclipped them, moved it up here out of the way a little bit, and just cable tied it just to make it look a bit neater. It doesn't block off the LEDs here, which do light up. But yeah, that's about it for now. That's just the update on the Aurora R13. I hope this helps. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know about it. I'll make another video.